In silent bread the infinite speaks. A meditation on the solemnity of Corpus Christi. There is a quietness that speaks louder than thunder, a stillness in which eternity whispers. Today we enter that sacred stillness. We kneel before mystery, not a riddle to be solved but a love to be received. Today is the solemnity of Corpus Christi, the day the Church pauses to adore with full heart and full reverence, the gift of the Eucharist, Christ Himself, veiled in bread and wine. In silent bread the infinite speaks. He does not raise His voice. He does not come in royal procession though He is King. He comes instead in brokenness, in ordinariness, in what looks like fragility. But in this silence, all of heaven opens. 1. The bread of life, a God who hungers for us. When Jesus first spoke of this bread, the bread that would become His flesh for the life of the world, many could not bear it. How can this man give us His flesh to eat? They asked. And today, perhaps, if we're honest, part of us still asks the same. But pause for a moment. What kind of God does this? What kind of God, being all-powerful, chooses to become nourishment? Not just to teach us truth but to feed us with Himself? Not content to remain distant, He becomes edible, becomes intimate. He knows we are not saved by ideas alone, but by love that enters us, sustains us, and becomes part of our very body. In the Eucharist, Christ is not outside of us. He is within. He offers Himself, not in splendor but in simplicity, just as He did in Bethlehem, the house of bread. He comes to us disguised in humility to meet us in ours. 2. The wound of love. The Eucharist is not merely a thing. It is a person, the person of Jesus, fully alive, fully giving. Every time we gaze upon the host, we are gazing upon love crucified and risen. A love that bleeds, yet remains undiminished. A love that gives and gives again. The Eucharist is not only about consolation. It is about communion. It is about letting ourselves be wounded by love, and in return learning how to love without self-protection. The host teaches us this. It is silent, vulnerable, exposed. And so must we be, if we want to live in the presence of God. At every Mass, when the priest lifts the host and says, "This is my body given up for you," it is not a metaphor. It is the outstretched arms of Christ all over again, the surrender of the cross made present in our time. We are not spectators. We are participants in that offering. And when we receive, we say Amen. Yes, I believe. But also, yes, I surrender. 3. Eucharist, the language of heaven. In heaven, love is total. There are no half measures. In the Eucharist, heaven begins here. Jesus does not give a piece of Himself. He gives all. And He does this perpetually. We receive the Eucharist often, sometimes with joy, sometimes distracted, sometimes with pain or longing, but every time Jesus gives the same measure of Himself, everything. He holds nothing back. And this is the language of heaven, gift. The Eucharist teaches us how to live, by becoming gift ourselves. It is not only about what we receive but who we are becoming. We become what we eat, the ancients said. In the Eucharist we are meant to become Eucharist, to be broken for others, to be poured out in love, to be signs of Christ's presence in a world that hungers for meaning. 4. A quiet revolution. In a world that often shouts, the Eucharist is a quiet revolution. It does not dominate, it invites. It does not compel, it waits. It is a daily miracle wrapped in the mundane. How many tabernacles sit hidden behind walls of stone and wood? How many monstrances lift the host above tired streets and restless cities? And yet, from there, Christ still changes the world. Not through force but through presence. Not by crushing evil but by entering its wounds with mercy. If we want to renew the Church, we must return to the Eucharist. If we want to find peace in our lives, we must spend time before the one who is peace. If we want to know who we are, we must listen to the silence in which He speaks. And what does He say? You are loved. You are forgiven. You are mine. 5. In the breaking of the bread. Remember the disciples on the road to Emmaus. They walked with Him, talked with Him, and still they did not recognize Him. It was only in the breaking of the bread that their eyes were opened. This still happens today. In every Mass, in every tabernacle, in every hidden hour of adoration, He walks with us. He speaks with us. And finally, in the breaking of the bread, we see, it is the Lord. The Eucharist is not just a sacrament. It is an encounter. And in that encounter, everything changes. So today, let us fall silent before the infinite. Let us kneel not as strangers but as children, as those who are loved beyond measure. Let us bring our wounds, our doubts, our weariness, and receive the bread of life. For in this silent bread, the infinite speaks. And in this speaking, our hearts are made whole.